Enerpac tools, services, and solutions. The right tool makes all the difference for precision. The ETCT is a system of dual tensioners mounted on a carousel specifically designed to tension and detension the GE7FA turbine coupling bolts. To get started, first assure a clean workspace and confirm all parts are accessible. Prep the coupling bolts as you normally would. Determine which side of the coupling you will be working on and set the wheel on a tensioner frame to the correct location. Place the carousel with the orange brake handle on the shaft. With the mounting plates toward the flange, rotate so that the split joint is at 12 o'clock. Lift the other half of the carousel into position with the mounting plates toward the flange and align it with the first half. Flip the two toggle bolts into position and slightly tighten. Rotate the carousel on the shaft to allow easier access to lower bolts, keeping the brake handle up top. Remove the carousel push-button lock pins located on each side of the split line block. Squarely and evenly place the spacer rods around the shaft. Push the carousel against the spacer rods. Tighten toggle bolts and split line bolts, keeping the carousel in contact with all the spacer rods. Once tightened, remove spacer rods and release the carousel brake. The carousel will now freely rotate around the shaft. Rotate the carousel so the tool mount plate is at 12 o'clock and apply the brake. Make sure the wheels are set to the correct side. Remove the two Allen bolts and keep them handy to replace after the tool is lifted into position. Lift the tensioner into position and align the T-bolts into the slots. Lift the tensioner bridge, bringing it to level, allowing the T-bolts to drop into the slots. Reinstall the two Allen bolts through the carriage mount and tighten. Rotate the first tool to 6 o'clock by slightly loosening the brake on the carousel and holding the tool so it rotates slowly. Lock the brake. Install the second tensioner in the same manner as the first. Loosen the carousel brake, allowing the tools to rotate freely. Position each tensioner closest to the carousel and tighten the slide brakes. Place mandrels into clean bolts and hand tighten. Torque each mandrel to 75 foot-pounds. For the turbine side, be sure to install the horseshoe socket adapters. Position pump near application and connect the Y hose to the tensioners. Preset pump pressure to 17,600 psi. Release the pressure. Connect the Y hose to the feed hose and feed to the pump. Disengage both carriage brakes. Align and engage tensioner at the 12 and 6 o'clock positions. Start engagement on both tensioners. Simultaneously thread the tensioners onto the mandrels, adjusting the height using the silver knob until the tensioner bridge touches the flange. Turn the puller bar back by half a turn to open a gap between bridge and flange. Bump pressure on the pump to close the gap between the bridge and the flange. Lock the carriage brakes on both tensioners. As target pressure builds, put force on the Tommy bar to loosen. When the bolt breaks loose on both nuts, pressure can stop building. Use the Tommy bar to loosen the nut 8 to 9 holes. Dump the pump pressure with the pennant and open the key handle to release the pressure. Remove the tool from the mandrel and rotate the carousel to the next position. Repeat for each bolt clockwise until uncoupled. Position pump near the application and connect the Y hose to the tensioners. Preset the pump pressure. Release the pressure. Connect the Y hose to the feed hose and feed hose to the pump. Disengage both carriage brakes. Align the tensioners on studs at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions. Start tensioner engagement on each tensioner. Simultaneously, thread the tensioners onto the mandrels, adjusting the height using the silver knob until the tensioner bridge touches the flange. Lock the brakes on the carriage. Bring the tensioners up to 10,000 psi and turn the tensioner socket clockwise with the Tommy bar until tight. Dump the pressure with the pennant and open the T-handle to release the pressure, and unscrew the tensioners from the mandrels. Disconnect the feed hose at pump. Set tensioning pressure to 17,600 psi. Check the settings several times as the regulator is slowly worked towards the target pressure. Dump and then recheck the pressure. Reconnect the feed hose. Align and engage tensioner at the 12 and 6 o'clock positions. Lock the brakes on the carriage. Bring the pump to target pressure and tighten both nuts clockwise until a firm pressure is felt with the Tommy bar. Dump the pressure on the pennant. Double hit by bringing the pump up to pressure again and repeat the tightening once more. Dump the pressure with the pennant, open the T-handle on the pump, and disengage the brakes. Disengage tensioner from the mandrel. Remove one mandrel and measure elongation. Repeat the Part 6 process for the remaining bolts in a clockwise sequence. Additional notes for 7FA.05 users. 7FA.05 users will utilize the following alternate accessories. The .05 turbine flange side uses both the longer spacers, which are gold-colored for easy identification, and also the black bridge spacers, while on the .05 generator flange side, the gold-colored socket spacers are used. The .05 generator flange side requires the gold socket spacers. These horseshoe-shaped socket spacers are placed on the nuts prior to moving the tensioners into position. The .05 turbine flange side utilizes protruding nuts, requiring the carousel to be placed further from the flange. To accommodate this, we utilize the bridge spacer between the tensioner and the flange and the longer gold-colored spacer bars. Prior to engaging the tensioner on the mandrel, place the black bridge spacer between the tensioner and the flange. Be sure to align the arrow toward the flange and place the lip inside the nut C-bore. Keep the spacer flat against the flange to prevent damage to the application or tool. Continue setting up the carousel in the same manner previously outlined. Troubleshooting. Carousel mounting. When the carousel is correctly mounted onto the shaft with its lock pins removed, it should be firmly in place, but not so tight that it does not rotate. If the carousel does not mount correctly, follow these procedures. Lay the carousel half flat on a firm surface with the aluminum silver side down. Have a measuring caliper with the dimensions set to 1/4 inch and a 3/8 hex wrench ready. Start with one locator foot. Unscrew until the inside foot is flush with the inside of the carousel ring. Then screw in the brass foot until it protrudes 1/4 inch, as measured with a caliper extension rod. Measure from toe of foot to inside the aluminum ring. Repeat for each of the feet. If the carousel still does not mount correctly, adjust the protrusion of each locator in or out as needed by a small amount. It is important that each foot is protruding equally so the carousel is centered on the pipe.